Welcome to our Bealtaine Living Earth Festival, where we celebrate biodiversity and natural heritage. We're based in the southeast of Ireland, and normally this time every year we would be going on visits to wonderful local sites guided by experts and enthusiasts from lots of different organisations. Unfortunately, with the COVID shutdown, we can't do that, but we can bring you as best we can to these sites and talk to people who are involved with them. Over the weekend, we introduced the festival and we looked at the idea of biodiversity, and now we're going to actually start our site visit. So today we have a real treat. We're going to go on a visit to the Lafcadio Hearn Japanese Gardens in Tramore, and afterwards we're going to talk to Keith Guinan, who's involved there. We want to get your feedback. We want to get to see what you are experiencing, what you are seeing in your local area, and we'd like you to share those with us and share them on social media with us. So here is something that one of our viewers has sent in to us. It's a lovely photograph, an anonymous photograph sent in by somebody, which is an achievement on social media, but they wanted to remain anonymous. And this is a beautiful picture of bluebells and primroses, which of course are real heralds of spring and early summer in Ireland. So send us in your images and we will share them here. I should also say that we had actually some emails in, and in fact somebody was dissatisfied with yesterday's show. Clodagh, who was a fan of the Robert Boyle schools, and said she was expecting something more in-depth and expert about biodiversity. Well, unfortunately, this is not the format we've chosen for this show. This is to try and introduce people to what's out there and get a conversation going. And we very much feel that you're part of this, and we want people at home to be out and be active and share it with each other. And we want to look on social media. Please share our ideas on Twitter at CalmastWIT, Instagram as well. Facebook, it's Bealtaine Biodiversity, and you can email us as well at calmast@wit.ie. And please use the hashtags Love Nature and hashtags Living Earth. So we're going to shortly get on to our main event and visit the Lafcadio Hearn Gardens in Tramore, and we think that this is a great opportunity to bring people from further afield, from around Ireland and from around the world, into the southeast to see what's on offer. And I'd imagine that a lot of people from outside Waterford would be quite amazed at the Japanese gardens in Tramore, a reasonably small town, a seaside town in Waterford. And we're going to visit there now, and we're going to take a look at the Japanese gardens through 4 seasons. And the narration is by Keith Guinan, who will be joining us after this showing in a few minutes to learn much more about the gardens.
The changing seasons bring new life to the Lafcadio Hearn Japanese Gardens year after year. This metamorphosis begins in spring as cherry trees burst into a beautiful display of blossoms. Throughout the gardens, bulbs and flowering plants such as tulips, daffodils, magnolia, camellia and azalea all begin their stunning displays. The local wildlife awakens from its winter hibernation, each setting about its own tasks for the months ahead. As we can see, every corner of the gardens is teeming with life, and each living thing plays its part in a much larger ecosystem. Sunshine gives energy to the plants through their large green leaves, a natural waterway quenches their thirst. And finally, the nutrients within the rich soil provide the plant life with all the nourishment needed to heal, grow, and thrive. These gardens are home to many birds, bats, and insects, and even to a few fairies. The summer season provides the fastest and strongest growth of life in the gardens. From the vivid seasonal colour in the Victorian garden to the charming miniature landscapes by the stream and ponds, we can see the variety of ways in which plants mature and thrive. The ponds attract hoverflies and dragonflies darting about their busy lives. Birdsong fills the air, and occasionally birds can be seen enjoying a bath as they make the most of the calm and peaceful space which is their home. Some of the world's oldest life forms, ferns, can be seen growing in the gardens alongside the modern-day plants and paths. These resilient plants have been living on Earth much longer than humans, and today they continue to thrive just as healthily as ever. The Azumaya, or Japanese summer pavilion, is the ideal spot to stop and reflect on all the life around you. The sound of the gently flowing water is at once both soothing and invigorating. In summer, the flowering American garden attracts a large number of bees and butterflies. These visitors are always welcome as they ensure the successful pollination of many plants. Be sure to treat them kindly wherever you may see them. If we are lucky, these insects will continue to visit us for years to come. Summer is a wonderful time to immerse yourself in the beauty of these natural surroundings. On a warm and sunny day, you can catch the smell of creeping rosemary as it travels along the breeze in the Greek garden, or sit and listen to the waterfall in the gardens of peace and harmony. As autumn approaches, the growth of plants slows down and the true structure of the gardens is revealed to us. The bees are nearing hibernation as the weather gets colder, the waterway begins to flow stronger, and we have more time to focus on the structures in the gardens, such as the exquisite Japanese ceremonial tea house. In the woodlands and elsewhere, the changing color of the leaves reminds us of the passage of time. It is important to cherish and mark these moments, as the gardens will continue to grow and evolve season upon season, never looking quite the same as your last visit. Here in the gardens, we often use autumn to dive into the readings of our namesake Lafcadio Hearn, who wrote famously about his love of Japanese gardens, and of garden creatures, and indeed of all the life in the natural world. As the year draws to a close and the weather gets colder still, the gardens undergo a magical transformation and become an enchanted garden. At this time of year, thousands of visitors of all ages come to experience this mysterious landscape after dark. Children and families are transported into the past to a time of wonderment. The natural framework of the gardens is used to provide an introduction to tradition and fairy lore. Visitors, young and old, gain a respect and understanding for this natural space and the life within it. Our enchanted garden fills our young visitors with a delightful enthusiasm and brings them back time and again throughout the year. Many gardens are closed during winter, but this season has its own beauty, and it is the time when the true elegance of a Japanese garden can be seen in all its simplicity. The plants have receded, and the rock and stone features become the central focus. Despite the winter chill, the magic of the twinkling candle lights and the warmth from the glowing fire continue to bring us many visitors in the final season of the year, with many making it their annual holiday tradition. Of course, it won't be long until spring is once more upon us, and we are welcoming new life to the gardens once again. 4 seasons, each one unique in its own way.
Okay, now that was a wonderful visit to the Lafcadio Hearn Gardens, and uh, the voice you heard there was of Keith Guinan, and he's joined us now. And we're also joined by Dr. Cordla Weiss of Calmast, one of the organisers of the Living Earth Festival. So Keith, that's I think that's very, very impressive, and of course it also brings to mind, the wonderful things that we can see throughout the year, not just the summer. But I suppose one thing that people might be asking firstly when they hear about this is what or who is Lafcadia Hearn? Is it a plant? Is it a person? Where does the name come from?
Well, Owen, first of all, thanks for having me on, and thanks to everyone involved in Bealtaine and Calmas. I think it's an incredibly good cause, and I'm very happy to be here to share this story. I get this question a lot. Who or what is Lafcadio Hearn? Lafcadio Hearn was a writer. He was half Greek and half Irish, and he lived from 1850 to 1904. His life took him to America and then Japan. And in Japan, he filled the role of folklorist and chronicler of old Japanese tales. So in Japan, he is a celebrated figure to this very day, where they know him by the name Koizumi Yakumo. He wasn't known very much in Ireland at all. He had left these shores long before his writing career started, and it's really a story that's waiting to be told. And I would consider him among Ireland's great writers. So in 2012, some Japanese descendants of Lafcadio Hearn visited the town of Tramore, a town that was quite special to Hearn when he was a little boy. And this was the beginning of the idea of starting a tribute to this wonderful story that hadn't been told. And today it stands as a 2.5-acre site done in the Japanese style, but reflecting all the countries associated with his life: Greece, Ireland, America, and Japan.
Well, and it's a great bonus for us not only to see the beauty of the gardens, but also to learn of a very famous Irishman who obviously is very famous in Japan and needs to have his work recognized in Ireland. So it's great to serve that purpose too. So tell me about the background to the gardens then, establishing them. How much was there before? Because it looks like quite an established gardens.
Yes, and well, thanks very much. It is quite new. We opened to the public in June 2015. So we do get a lot of comments asking about how long it has been here. To take you through the history of the grounds. The grounds are attached to the large Victorian house called Tramore House. It was a private residence in the Victorian era and had a wonderful Victorian garden which filled the grounds at that time. Now, somewhere around the 1960s is when the public authority purchased it and started repurposing the land for different things. The grounds became a parkland, while the large house became offices, it became community hall, there was a dentist there. Today, it's the offices of the roads authority. They're designing roads in there. So the large Victorian house is still there, but is not run by the same people as the garden. Now, after this transition from being privately owned to going to the council, over decades, it was an open park, quite bare bones at times, but unfortunately, it went through a lot of neglect and vandalism. And it wasn't really the fault of the public authority. It was just very hard to keep a lid on damage and vandalism and things like this. So it became something of a problem area. If you look
Okay, a
at
problem. Speaking of problem areas, I'm afraid we're getting a lot of noise in on your line there, Keith. I think there must be traffic going by. So I just turned to Cordula for a second there. Now, Cordula, you're not from Waterford. You're from a bit further afield. What did you think when you were told there's Japanese gardens in Tramore and you went out to see? What did you expect and what did you find there?
To be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. I came to Ireland from Germany, so I think the least thing I expected was to find a Japanese garden. And even more, I didn't expect to find such a hidden gem somewhere in Tramore. When you come into Tramore and just go down the main road, me as a German, I went to the beach first thing of all, of course, so I went straight past those gardens and I didn't even notice them. But once you find a way around, and they have good signposts, I have to say, that was just me back in the time. It's very well signposted, but once you're there, you're really surprised what a hidden gem you can find in the middle of Tramore. The gardens are quite compact, so you never get bored because there's literally one thing after the next. There's many extraordinary things in there. So for example, one of my favorite spots would be next to an olive tree. And I think there's a bit of a story behind that olive tree as well, how it was brought from, I think, Italy to the Japanese gardens. Then you go on and you come to lovely little waterfalls. There's a pond. I think they're making a tea house at the moment. It's probably finished by now. I haven't been there for obvious reasons for a while. So I was very surprised when I arrived there, what beautiful things there are hidden in the middle of Tramore. And yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I think you've seen it when you looked at the video. They have these amazing enchanted woods and those lights in winter. And I remember every winter since I came here, I've been there for a glass of mulled wine and sitting down by the fireplace, watching the lights of Tramore, and it's just really cozy. But at the same time, you can do several loops of the garden, no matter of winter or summer, and always discover something new. An absolute hidden gem, as I was saying.
Okay, well, um, of course, we encourage everyone to visit. People from Waterford City will be just beyond the 5 kilometre range, I'm afraid, at the moment. The people from and people from further afield, hopefully, when things normalise, will come and visit. Um, the restrictions are easing a little bit, and the gardens were open today. Keith, was there much visitors?
we had our first few visitors trickling in today, local people and some of our volunteers who we haven't seen in months. So it really lifted the spirits to see these people again. Just to apologize if there is any interference, I'm at the office, which is right at the edge of the gardens, and so I can't quite move where I'm at. I should have maybe used the mobile instead. But yes, it has been a slow day, but we are glad. We have a lot of restrictions in place, a lot of things to make sure we're doing to keep everyone safe and healthy. But once we're open, it is the ideal place to come, to get away from crowds, and to go for a nice walk, listen to the bird song, and have a beautiful view of Tramore Beach as well.
And speaking of birdsong, what the gardens must be home to a lot of fauna. What birds do you have there?
Okay, so the ones I see around the place, with the wood pigeons, jackdaws, ravens, robins, thrushes, wagtails, things you would expect to see. Occasionally, actually once or twice, we have had local mallard ducks come and sit in our little pond, but they don't stay very long. They're coming from the larger duck pond, which again you can see from the garden. So it's really
Okay, Cordula, have you any questions there? Is anyone active yet on social media?
Well, just talking, I'm just looking at Twitter and Facebook at the moment. So a question was coming in because you were just saying animals. That listeners wondering what the difference would be between the wildlife in the Japanese garden and the garden that we have here. I mean, obviously you can't bring the Japanese animals to Ireland and just kind of bring them in here, but what would you expect in a Japanese garden in Japan actually?
in Japan, we would have herons and things like this. In fact, Lafcadio Hearn, when he went to Japan, his Japanese friends and students would sometimes call him Heron-san because they knew the word heron, and it was close enough to Hearn that he used it as his name. The animals that frequent the gardens are more local. We don't import them. We don't have any koi as of yet, but it's something I dream about.
That would have been my next question, yeah.
Absolutely, I would love them. There's a lot of local cats. They might have them straight away. I'm not sure. But what we've seen
Yeah.
on our security cameras in the nighttime, sometimes a hedgehog or a fox. I want to mention Tramore Eco Group as well, who have done nature walks through the gardens, focusing on birds and, more interestingly, bats. So we have gone on bat walks here in the evening time, and the woods which are in the garden are home to a lot of bats, and they're curious little creatures who will come and dart around over your head as you're walking through in the dark. Now, we don't do these very often. To access the gardens after dark brings all sorts of health procedures, safety procedures that have to be followed. But when Tramore Eco Group do these walks, it is thrilling to have your bat detector and hear it clicking and making its noise, and suddenly to have these little creatures darting above. And one of the members of Tramore Eco Group, Dennis Cullen, is particularly good at identifying that sort of local.
That's right. I'm certainly we'll definitely give a shout out to the Tramore Eco Group. They're very active, and anyone around Tramore should get involved with them. They do a lot of great work. Cordula, there's another question in asking about the Greek and American influences. So we can take it as read that some of the Irish influences would be part of the existing gardens, maybe. But what about maybe Cordula? Do you know about the Greek and American influences? Or will we?
In the Lafcadio gardens.
Yes, yes.
Sorry?
Or will we? Maybe we go to Keith again on that. I thought maybe
Oh,
the sound is better.
or if you
Sorry,
need
no, I just lost you there for a second. Oh,
if you need
I'm back now, I think.
The garden incorporates influence from all these countries, as I mentioned. The American section of the garden is filled with prairie grass, such as Calligrostis and Miscanthus, and also quaking aspen trees, which really come into their own in windy weather, which we get a lot of in Tramore. And what is absolutely one of the crown jewels of the American section is the echinacea, which attract large numbers of bees and butterflies throughout the summer. And elsewhere in the gardens, you'll also see large populations of hoverflies. And if you're sitting by the pond,
Okay, I'm sorry, Keith. We'll have to we're it's getting too much, the interference there. So we'll be back to you in a minute. Cordula, there are some questions in. I'll go to you with this one. There's a picture has been sent in from somebody. I don't recognize what it is. Can you tell me? From somebody in Germany.
Somebody in Germany. I think the Irish name, sorry, the English name for that is gentian. It's like this blue flower that you find up in the German Alps. It's absolutely beautiful. If you ever go on holidays there, you should go up in the Alps around this time and see that flower. It's
Okay. And
the signature flower.
I'm afraid, Cordula, we're having trouble with your sound as well. Are you back with us? I'm sorry, Cordula. We'll have to. Okay, and I can't even manage to mute Cordula. Oh, we'll try that. This is okay. Impossible to mute her. Okay. Right. So I'll just move on a bit.
Because I'm sorry if.
Okay, I think you might be back now. No, I'm afraid not. Okay, we're having a lot of trouble with connections here. That's the challenges of live broadcast. I'm going to look just at what we have coming up tomorrow. And just to say, on our website now we have activities and guides, and we're putting up new ones every day. So the activities for today are how to do a bird survey, and these are all good family activities. So we do a bird survey, very important, help out, but also learn a lot about our biodiversity. And to help those birds, and maybe to attract them to your gardens, you can build handy little bird feeders. We have two models there. One is a repurposed orange skin, and the other is a repurposed plastic bottle. And we also have making a bird bath, because birds have to find water somewhere. And in this prolonged dry spells, there's probably not a lot of puddles for them, so it's nice to put out a little bird bath. Now I'm going to try Cordula again and see have we got a good connection, and Cordula, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah. Is it better now for you? Can you hear me?
Yes, not perfect, but can you tell us what's coming up tomorrow on the Living Earth Festival?
You've just been talking about all the different activities and so on that we have every day. So today it was loads about birds, and that ties in very well with what you do tomorrow, because tomorrow we have a bird walk on Mount Congreve. We go on a little stroll through the gardens, listen to the birds, and we will also have a video from the Biodata Center, the National Biodiversity Center. That will get us into the right mood for Wednesday, because Wednesday is World Bee Day. So tomorrow we finish with the birds, so to speak, and we start with pollinators and getting into the right mood then to talk about bees and pollinators on Wednesday. Of course, we have loads of activities up for that as well. So tomorrow we'll see how to make a bird feeder. Made that the other day. Sorry, a butterfly feeder, not a bird feeder, of course. Bird feeder was today. Yeah, we will look at making a box or an insect hotel at home from simple materials, again, using plastic bottles and those kind of things. It's we're trying to upcycle as much as possible and see what we can do, what we can make out of waste. I'm also And I just want to come back to today for a second. Today and tomorrow is all going to be a lot about birds. The Wildfowl Reserve, they have put up a quiz on their website. So if you look at the guides today, if you get an idea of the different birds that we have here in Ireland, maybe do a bird survey, then give it a try tomorrow. Go on the website of the Wildfowl Reserve, look for activities, and they will have a bird quiz up there. We will share it tomorrow on social media as well. And there's also something where I spent a good bit of my time today, probably shouldn't have done, but you really get drawn in. There is a live cam, again, by the National Parks and Wildlife Service, and you can watch a wild-tailed sea eagle, like it's a couple, and they're raising the young on Garnish Island. And it's just lovely to watch them, like they come flying in with their prey and they feed their young. And it's just, once you start watching, you get really drawn in. So give it a go. Again, if you look it up, Sea Eagle Live Cam, Garnish Island, it will come up immediately.
Okay, and we can put a link to that on our website.
We'll keep it.
Yeah, we can put a link to that from the Living Earth website, and a link to the Wexford Wildfowl Sanctuary activities as well. So apologies again for the quality of the connections. It's not the fault of the individuals, it's just that's the technology we have to work with. It is a challenge for us, but it does enable us to reach so many people and to bring these wonderful experiences to as many people as possible during this COVID lockdown. So when you are going on your walk, hopefully you'll be using your biodiversity and living earth eyes to look around and to hear and smell and to, enjoy that silence that we were talking about yesterday as well. Even though we had problems with noise here today, we actually have the quietest environment we could imagine now to enjoy. So while you're out and about, stay distance from each other and enjoy nature on your doorstep, and come back to us at 5 p.m. tomorrow when we will be investigating the world of birds and pollinators as well. And we will be joined by another expert panel. So thank you very much.
You can come in there before we finish this off, because we got one more thing on social media. I'm just monitoring that. Because you were just saying staying distance, social distance, there's a few groups actually watching on Zoom. So a few groups meeting up and watching us doing Zoom on Zoom. And I want to give a shout out to Deirdre Boyle and Kieran Taff, who are watching up in Louth. And I'm sure there's many more. So let us know when you're watching on a watch party or Zoom party, and we will give you a shout out from here. Thanks.
Now, I've just been told that I have had that image up covering my face for the last few minutes, which gives you all a bit of a rest. And I'd like to thank you again for joining us. It's a lot of fun doing this, even though it is all new technology to us. But I'd say by the end of the festival, we'll be getting good at it. So hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Thank you to my guests and to all our partners and supporters of the Bealtaine Living Earth Festival. Goodbye, stay safe and stay at home.